Hello everyone, welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. And as ever, there seems to be bigger developments around the return of the Premier League, which we'll talk about. We're also going to be talking about Havertz, Jesse Lingard, latest on Jude Bellingham and a couple of other things. But let's start off with the Premier League return. I had a little bit of news anyway, but there is also some news that there is a meeting tomorrow with the Premier League clubs. Lot of outlets, Simon Stone talking about this from the BBC, a few others as well, saying that there are certain Premier League clubs that wants a deadline imposing of the 30th of June to complete this Premier League season, and this is to do with sponsorships next season, also primarily to do with contracts. There are players that are out of contract on the 30th of June, and although FIFA have spoken about giving an extension to that, there are concerns about the legality of that because obviously it's freedom of movement for workers. And I think in United's case, you'd have Angel Gomez in that situation, and I think Agallo as well. But this is a global problem. So they're trying to get it done by the 30th of June, which immediately means people think we're voiding the season. Although there is a talk that Premier League clubs would be willing to give it to Liverpool if it I don't agree with that. If we're voiding the season, we're voiding the season. I'm not for giving Liverpool the title after 30 games. Screw that for a game of blockbusters. Not having that. You complete it or you don't. If you don't complete the race, you don't give out the winning medal. That's as far as I'm concerned. However, the 30th of June, just to let me just say this to you, 30th of June, some people are like, oh no, we're never going to get it done, Jeffrey. Well, I tell you what, rainbow shout out there, I tell you what, we can get it done. And I have actually been told, I don't know how true this is, because obviously I'm living in the Midlands, I've been told that a professional football club has been put on standby to go back to training in early to mid-May with a view to starting at the start of June, which is what has been rumoured around anyway, but I've heard that in a WhatsApp group that I'm in, that they're looking to get back playing at the start of June. Remember, Premier League clubs have 9 games left, or 10. If you start playing at the start of June, you give yourself 3.5 weeks. If you play a game every 3 days, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, whatever, if you're doing 3 games a week, you can get 9 games done in 3 weeks. So it can be done. But the hypotheticals, Judd Trump, snooker player, President Trump is talking about opening up for business in May, and he wants football. He wants baseball back. He's fed up of watching old baseball games. Wrestling's carried on. So I think we're going to get locked down for another 3 weeks today by the UK government. That will take us to sort of like the start of May, early May. And beyond that, I think we might see football training back mid-May and football back in June. I think we'll see it. I do. I know some would say that's unrealistic, but I've always felt that would happen, and I think it will happen. I think we will get this season done. Anyway, get your comments in below about that. Let's talk about the latest Manchester United news. Havertz speaking yesterday, Bayer Leverkusen, 20 years of age, one of the up-and-coming stars of world football, some say, attacking midfielder, can play to the right, can play in the midfield, but primarily an attacking midfielder. He's been talking about his future. He said, I'm ready to take that step up, and that includes a move abroad. And a lot of people feel that he'll go to Bayern Munich because that's what happens in the German league. Bayern Munich hoover up and have a monopoly of talent in the Bundesliga. But Havertz has said, I'm open to moving abroad as well. I always like these sort of quotes from the player themselves rather than Bild or Sky Germany or whatever, because this is from the player's mouth. And that to me is a come and get me plea. That to me is I'm ready to move. I want to move now. 21 in June he'll be. His contract's 2022. So I think this is the summer that Leverkusen will have to sell Havertz, because if they wait till next summer, he's got 1 year left on his contract. So it's new contract time or sell time if you want to get something for him. And let's not forget, Bayer Leverkusen could be a club that are in financial difficulty after what's gone on. They may be vulnerable to a lower bid. Will United be in the running for him? A lot of you would say we should be. My issue with this is, I would go for him. I think Havertz has the potential to be better than a Grealish or a Maddison, but Manchester United are in on Grealish and Maddison, as we understand, and United still do like to lean towards the British Premier League players than they do abroad players. And I know we bought Bruno, but I'd be very surprised if United were in for Havertz. I also think that Havertz is more likely to go to Bayern Munich, a Liverpool, or a Real Madrid than a Manchester United. I don't see here or get the inclination that he's talking about Manchester United when he's talking about going abroad. And I don't get anything from United's side that we're in for Havertz. So I think this is a player that you and me would look at and go, he'd be a very good signing to bring into Manchester United. But to me, there's too many stumbling blocks. 1, I don't think we're in for him. 2, I'm not convinced he'd want to come to us. 3, we've just bought Bruno Fernandes, and I think Grealish would come in and work for his role. Havertz would come in, and would he work for his role? Would he expect to start? You're probably not going to start. So I don't think there's enough ticks in the box for us to go to Havertz, but keep an eye on it. I think he's clearly a player that's available, and it's one of those that if I was Manchester United, I would look at that situation and think, well, let's see what happens, because if we've got the money, then we're interested, you know. So let's see what happens on Kai Havertz. On Jude Bellingham, you might get the information on Bellingham may have something to do with what I said earlier about a club going back in mid-May. I'll leave that to your imagination. But Bellingham, the latest is that he will leave Birmingham City in the summer. It is looking like 3 clubs, Dortmund favourites at the moment, Manchester United and potentially Chelsea. There is a desire to stay in England, but the Dortmund project is an attractive one for numerous reasons, none more so than what's happened with Jadon Sancho and the belief that you can go there for a couple of years. Because remember, he's only 16. Go there for a couple of years and then come back, play a lot of first-team football, play Champions League football. The Dortmund thing's attractive apart from the fact that it means moving out of England to Germany at 16. But, you know, why wouldn't you do that? For Manchester United side, I think they're interested in Bellingham, but I think it's a bonus signing. I read this yesterday as well, but I agree with that. I think United would like Bellingham, but I think they see it as a bonus signing if they can do it. I don't think he should be a bonus signing. I think he should be a priority signing, because at his age, you can loan him back to Birmingham, and you've got a player there that I just think can be one of the best. I mean, the comparisons with Gerrard get mentioned a lot, but I think that the comparisons with Gerrard are somewhat correct, because he can exceed Gerrard. Was Gerrard playing Championship football at 16, playing over 30 games in the midfield in a very competitive league? No, he wasn't. There is a real opportunity with this lad to get something really, really special. So United might see it as a bonus. I get the feeling that Bellingham would go to United if we give him the right package, but the concern is that I think Dortmund may have offered him the better package. And when I say package, it's not just financials, it's this is what we're going to do with your career. You'll be playing Champions League football next season. And United, I don't think we can offer him that. So we'll see. I mean, with United, when you hear that United are treating Bellingham as a bonus signing, it almost feels like they're putting that out because when they don't get him, they're like, oh, well, you know, it would have been a bonus anyway. So maybe the white flag is going up of defeat in relation to Bellingham already. I would hope not. I would love to get this player. I think it'd be very exciting to get. I mean, a lot of people, you know, in the hypothetical scenario, would you rather keep Gomez and get Bellingham and not get Bellingham, or let Gomez go and keep Bellingham? I think, you know what, from what I've seen of him, from the people, because he plays around the city where I live, a lot of people are telling me this lad's, and look, I love Angel Gomez. It's not his fault, but Angel Gomez has not performed in a Premier League or a Championship. He hasn't. He's potential. Jude Bellingham is 3 years younger and he's performing in the Championship in centre midfield. So I would go with Bellingham because that's the obvious choice for me. I want Gomez to succeed, but I would take Bellingham because his career is developing at a far more rapid rate. Also, let's talk about Jesse Lingard. So Lingard again linked to Everton this morning. We were talking about Lingard last night, weren't we, on the 8 o'clock show? Join me at 8 o'clock live tonight, by the way. Everton talking about Lingard. Everton have got the money. Everton have got rich owners, so Everton could go for Lingard. I think this would be I personally think this is the perfect move for everybody. I think he could rebuild his career at Everton. 27 years of age, could get back in the England squad, and could really prove that he actually is a decent footballer. I think at Manchester United, I don't think he can ever prove that he's a decent footballer because footballers are inconsistent. Jesse has been ridiculously inconsistent. Many would say poor. And unless he comes back and plays ridiculously consistent every week, even if he came back and played well for a month, we've seen him do that. Then when he has a bad month, everyone will say, oh, he's just bad. I think he's in a lose-lose situation in relation to his Manchester United career, unless he suddenly started playing like Messi every week for the next 5 years, which is unachievable for anybody other than Messi. I don't see Lingard ever getting back in a situation where the fan base believe that he can be a first-team player for United. I think a move is good for him. I hope that the Raiola link-up is because he's going to get a move. And I think that would be better for everybody. And I think Everton would be an exciting move because we'd be able to see how he gets on and wish him all the best. You know, Phil Neville went there and the same thing happened. So I hope that there is something in that. There is a feeling that Lingard wants to stay at United. There is a feeling that United want to keep Lingard, but I don't see it. I don't see keeping a 27-year-old player as somebody who really probably isn't good enough for your bench. I don't see the benefits of that for his career, and I don't see the benefits of that for us, because if we do that, in 2 years' time, how much more football will he have played? He'll still be the same Jesse Lingard, but he'll be 29. Who's going to want him then? Now, for me, is the time to get some money for Lingard and also give him an opportunity to make something of his latter part of his career when he's in his prime. I think if he stays at United, he'll waste... He's wasted. Last year was a waste of his career. I mean, statistically it was a waste, but it was also a waste of his career. And I think next year and the year after will be as well. You only get one career. I wish I'd had a footballing career, and I wish many of you did. And I'm sure you feel the same. He has got a football career. He's 27. In 10 years' time, do you want to look back and say, look, I did loads of Google Hangouts for United when in the lockdown, and I sat on the bench a bit, and I appeared on lots of photos. But what did you do as a footballer? You're 27. You've played for England in a World Cup semi-final. I'd grab the career. You're not going to take a massive pay cut going to Everton anyway. So I don't think he'd even have to take a pay cut. I hope he takes the opportunity and goes for it. Also, Calcio Mercato in Italy linking us with Arturo Vidal, who must be about 90 now. No, he's not really. He's early 30s, isn't he? But he's had a lot of problems with his knees. I was always a big fan of Vidal. And I was always a big fan of James Rodriguez, but these are signings I would have been looking at 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'm not looking at Vidal now. And the story is that we're looking for Vidal to come in because he'd offer us some experience in the midfield. I just don't see this. I don't see this. I mean, I'd like Vidal, but I've always said in relation to strikers and midfielders, and we learnt the lesson with Schweinsteiger where we got our fingers burnt, doesn't matter how big the name is in world football, do not bring players to the Premier League over 31 who've never played in this league before and have slight injury problems, because it's the same with Cavani, it was the same with Schweinsteiger, it will be the same with Rakitic, and it will be the same with Vidal. These players have never played in the intensity of the Premier League. And I'm not saying the Premier League's the best in the world, although I think it is at the moment, but it hasn't always been. There have been leagues that are technically better, but it's definitely the most, the fastest, the most intense. So to bring players who are in their early 30s into the Premier League when they've never played here before, it's a recipe for disaster. You're going to get a lot of muscle injuries, you're going to get a lot of fatigue, and they're on the wind down when you need players on the wind up. You need players who are coming in here in their prime or younger. So the Vidal thing, it will be a nonsense. It will be a nonsense. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Check out the link in the video description. We had Robbie on yesterday. 24 hours for our NHS. Starts at midday on Saturday all the way through till midday on Sunday. We've got loads of people coming on. I'm in discussions with getting people onto the United stand. I know Robbie's doing the same on AFTV. A big, massive 24-hour charity stream. Lots and lots of good content as per usual. But if you want to get on the Just Giving page, we've already had a few people putting in their little messages and their little donations already. Of course, those donations and messages will start to get read out on shows from now. So the earlier you get your donation in, the more chance you've got of having your message read out. We will aim to read all of them out, by the way. Link to the video description for that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you at 8 o'clock tonight live, or this afternoon on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football FIFA Career Mode. Speak to you soon.